Otherside Picnic Volume 3 Review. Volume 3 of Otherside Picnic picks up on Sorabo and Toriko's otherworldly adventures, directly from where left off in Volume 2, as they help defend the stranded US Marines from the hordes of strange creatures that charge on the base they have built around this abandoned train station February. The series so far has been a mix of horror and science fiction, pulling in a variety of themes for both genres to challenge our protagonists in every turn. And this arc definitely pulls more towards the horror side, playing on the fear of the unknown and creating an atmosphere of tension that sights on the knife edge, in which you know if anyone makes one wrong move, everyone is dead. While normally you expect a big standoff as the defenders get cut down one by one. RC Picnic pulls off a brave move and throws in a twist that doesn't quite turn into a comedy, but gives it that sort of vibe. When Sorabo uses her supernatural eye to reveal the monster's true nature, everything seems really silly. If everyone's scared of it, actually something fairly normal. Albeit transparent due to the effects of the other side, but in that sense, that's something the series has been great so far, making something everyday into a creepy and impossible. It is a shame Joe that decides to cut things short just when this arc was getting good, as the pair run to avoid a dicey confrontation after Sorawa's color contact comes close and reveals her mutated eye. Their escape route, the so-called monkey train, reference to the phone call in the previous volume, feels like it is figured out all too quickly, yet somehow still works in the last gap leap of fate moment. Later on, we do get hints that its part of the story isn't finished, as they both want to go back and rescue the Marines, and it does still feel like there's a rush to move on to the next arc. It does, however, stay true its overall themes as it's what is on the train that makes the biggest impact. It sure takes the praise Monkey Train to a very dark and gory place that it just wasn't expecting. The following arc, Time, Space, Man, takes a different approach, being more of a pure sci-fi story, pushing the horror elements. And although there is still spooky stuff present, it's not the most interesting part of this particular tale. After the traumatic experience of the train, and with feeling how close to death they have come so far, Sarava gets cold feet and tries to back out of the other side, causing an argument with Toriko when she storms off. What appeared of them not speaking for a few days might have had an easy fix their connection to the other side, makes the argument snowball as Toriko mysteriously disappears. While Sarava does suspect she has gone to the other side on her own, things become more complicated. The two worlds begin to blend together as both Sarava's relative time and space fall out of sync, as she slips into the other side by accident. If meeting a strange man who yells at her to get out wasn't strange enough, photos on Sarava's phone show her stalking her friend, something she doesn't have any memories of. She ends up going to Kosakura for help, but three mysterious women knocking on the front door sends the pair off into their own other side adventure. There's plenty of mystery in this one with a lot of questions to answer, making it good for those who want to figure things out as the story moves forward. However, it feels a little unfocused, as it shows up three separate events that, at the moment, don't have too much in relation to each other. You assume there will be a connection as things go forward, but it's hard to fully piece in the time-space span. If he's supposed to warn people away from straying into the other side, why has he not shown himself before now? Emerging plot holes aside, there is some strong character development here as we get to see some of the main characters' insecurities and how they start to push to overcome them. Sorawa's moments of cowardice are really rightly called out by Kosakura, should be used to all of this by now surely, which actually we as readers get to see as more of a front from hiding her jealousy for Sarasuke being the main reason Toriko is heading to the other side, rather than even being for her. This leads to some dumb laughs when looking at her relationship as they both try to reach out to each other but ultimately fail due to the personal feelings of embarrassment and stubbornness. There's still a lack of anything between them being close to romantic at this point. But we can at least tell Toriko is very attractive and Sorawa is kinda into her. It's also nice to see Kosakura become more actively involved as the story tries to flesh out her character to being more than just the eccentric guiding voice. Mizuno's artwork for this series continues to be enjoyable too, with a consistently excelling in the depictions of the monsters, particularly in the Station February arc, and I also like how they portray the barrier between worlds, and this one in different ways. What it looks like fabric making people pull away, or bright light that flashes through the doorway. Facial expressions are also portrayed well and really capture the characters' emotions. But I also continue to enjoy the contrasting character designs between Sorabo's more androgynous, boyish look and Otoriko's more feminine charm. The series continues to be published by Square Enix and is available digitally and as a physical paperback. This volume is translated by Taylor Engel and reads with no issues to note. As with other volumes, there is a bonus short at the end of the book that puts a focus on events from Kosakura's perspective. which this time gives a little more insight into Toriko's disappearance, making it a more worthwhile read than the previous two. Overall, this point of Otherside Picnic shows that the series continues to get a lot of things right, as it offers both some particularly horrifying moments and some thought-provoking sci-fi mysteries with a good size of character development exactly when it's needed. It just continues to be a solid read and what I recommend both horror sci-fi fans picking up. 8 out of 10.